వేదాంతం అంటే ఉపనిషత్తుల జ్ఞానమే. ఈ జ్ఞానాన్ని ఎవరైతే పొందుతారో వాళ్ళు జీవనం తర్వాత ముక్తులై బ్రహ్మానందాన్ని అనుభవిస్తారు. అసలు వేదాంతం అంటే ఏంటి? అది మనకి ఏం తెలియజేస్తుంది? ప్రతి మనిషి వేదాంతం గురించి తెలుసుకోవాల్సిన విషయాలేంటి? మన ఆధ్యాత్మిక గురువు రంగనాథన్ శ్రీనివాసన్ గారిని అడిగి తెలుసుకుందాం. నమస్తే గురూజీ.
నమస్తే.
మీరు ఐఐటి చెన్నైలో చేశారు, ఐఐఎం బెంగళూరు, ఇప్పుడు నౌ ఐఎస్బిలో విజిటింగ్ ప్రొఫెసర్. మీరు ఇవన్నీ అయ్యాక కూడా మీరు ఎలా స్పిరిచువాలిటీలోకి ఎలా కన్వర్ట్ అయ్యారు, అసలు అంటే ఎలా టర్న్ అయ్యారు?
They are all connected. When I studied in these colleges taught me to think logically and ask questions logically. So I had a lot of questions on life for which I did not find answers. And I happened to visit Rishikesh and I attended a workshop by Puja Swami Dayananda Saraswati ji. And I always thought philosophy is philosophy, like any other child.
Yes, yes.
But then I found very logical answers to these questions in Puja Swamiji's class. And that was a turning point for me. And then I realized that it all depends on the guru, the teacher, the acharya, right? Then year after year, I started visiting Himalayas. I started visiting Rishikesh, attending various workshops by Puja Swami Dayananda Saraswati ji. Then his disciple, Puja Swami Paramarthananda ji, a lot of other spiritual texts. Then I found very logical answers to my questions. Having done that for close to about 25 years, I thought it's important that I share the knowledge that I've gained from these people to the rest of the people, to whatever extent I have understood, right? And that's the journey that we have taken now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I heard that Rajnikant garu and Narendra Modi ji is also your disciples.
Yes, they are also students of Puja Swami Dayananda Saraswati ji. In fact, Puja Swami always used to say, don't call yourself a student of me, call yourself a student of my teachings.
Okay.
And there's a difference, right? You don't follow the person, you follow the teachings of the person, right? And that's why we say knowledge is supreme, right? So you follow the teachings of the guru.
Okay. ఈ రోజు మనం వేదాంతం గురించి మాట్లాడుకుందామండి. విల్ టాక్ అబౌట్ వేదాంతం టుడే. అండ్ వాట్ ఈస్ వేదాంత? అసలు వేదాంత అంటే ఏంటి?
There are many definitions for Vedanta. I can tell about what I have understood as Vedanta. Yeah. For anything we do, any success in life comes through actions of the body and the mind. Right? Across the world, all creations have happened because of human beings, have all happened because of body and mind. But how to use this body and mind efficiently and effectively, that there is no text that explains that. And that text is Vedanta. It's like, I see it as a user manual of life. Right? We go through all kinds of problems in the mind. We go through all kinds of body-related issues. How do you manage all that well so that you can create something really, really useful for human beings and for the world at large? That's the subject of Vedanta as I have understood.
మీరు చెప్తున్నారు ఇది యూజర్ మాన్యువల్ అని, కానీ వేదాంత అన్నది వాస్ట్ సబ్జెక్ట్ అండి వేదాంతం అన్నది. బట్ కామన్ మ్యాన్ దాన్ని చదవాలి అన్నా, దాన్ని అర్థం చేసుకోవాలన్నా ఎలా కుదురుతుందండి అది?
It's a vast subject, as you rightly said. It's very big, right? So there are different sections of Vedanta which talks about different aspects of the mind, different aspects of the body, right? And those aspects can be looked at when you understand the commentaries written. That's why direct Vedanta requires commentaries by experts. Okay. And when experts write commentaries, it's called as Bhashyam. And that Bhashyam will help a common man understand Vedanta, which is otherwise seem to be a complex subject. Vedanta only talks about the truth. So we need commentators, we need the people who have interpreted that in different ways, like Adi Shankara or other people, Puja Swami, Dayananda Saraswati. So they explain in a manner which a common man can understand, and then they can apply it in their life. Yeah.
సో అసలు పర్పస్ ఏంటండి? ఇప్పుడు మీరు జాయ్ఫుల్ వేదాంత అంటున్నారు కదా, వాట్ ఈస్ ద పర్పస్ ఆఫ్ జాయ్ఫుల్ వేదాంత?
Okay, beautiful question. Thank you for asking this question. Any subject, for example, I go to school and study, or I get a degree in college, right, and I do a PhD. Anything I do in life, ultimately I do it for my joy and peace, correct? I don't have to be joyful to be peaceful. I don't have to be peaceful to be joyful. But if you look at what everybody is searching in life, including you and me, I think we are looking for joy and peace. I want to be peaceful and I want to be joyful, right? Vedanta also as a subject, if it is not going to help somebody be joyful, if it is not going to help somebody be peaceful, then the subject is useless.
Okay.
Right? Any education is useless. Any work is useless. What is the use of doing something which will give me money but will not give me peace? Right? So, joyful Vedanta, we started a group only to have a vision. The vision is joyful and peaceful living for everybody at all times. And can we bring scriptural knowledge in a very easy manner for people to understand on a day-to-day basis so that they don't feel it's very complex and they can be joyful and peaceful at all times. That's the whole objective of joyful Vedanta.
So, ఇది మిగతా వాటితో పోలిస్తే ఇది ఎలా డిఫరెంట్? How is it different from others?
Yeah. Other groups, what they deal with the subject in one or two different ways. The way we deal with the subject is slightly different. I think you are asking how is it different?
Yes.
Right? Okay. What we try and do is we demystify and simplify the complex subject
Okay.
with a view to apply practically. For example, if you take a text like say Bhagavad Gita, there are so many shlokas are there. There are various books which explain what is the meaning of the shloka. Okay. Now what do you do with that? How do you use it on a day-to-day basis? When I'm having a conflict with my children or I'm having a conflict in my office, how can I use the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita? So what we do is we demystify and simplify the texts, various texts,
Okay.
with a focus to apply practically. That's one difference. Second, because of various influences that have happened in humanity, people are slowly moving away from a dharmic life.
Yes.
So we want to bring back everybody into a dharmic life to tell them that if you live a dharmic life, you will not lose anything. In fact, you will gain a lot if you live a dharmic life. So in that sense, the message we want to convey and the way we want to emphasize a lot on practical implication, I think that's the difference.
Okay.
As I see. Yeah.
So, Guruji, I have a small doubt. So, these Vedanta, ఇవన్నీ కూడా వేల సంవత్సరాల క్రితం రాసినవండి. థౌజండ్స్ ఆఫ్ ఇయర్స్ బ్యాక్. సో కానీ ఇప్పుడున్న మోడర్న్ జనరేషన్కి, ఇప్పుడున్న మోడర్న్ లైఫ్కి అవి ఎలా అప్లై చేస్తాం మనం? యూ సెడ్ దట్ భగవద్గీతలో కొన్ని శ్లోకాలు వెన్ దెర్ ఇస్ ఎ కాన్ఫ్లిక్ట్ అదంతా, కానీ ఇవన్నీ అప్పుడున్న దేశ కాలమాన పరిస్థితులకు అనుగుణంగా రాసినవి. ఇప్పుడున్న పరిస్థితులు అన్నీ దానికి ఎంటైర్లీ డిఫరెంట్గా ఉన్నాయి. అప్పుడు రాసిన వేదాంతాలని ఇప్పుడు ఎలా అప్లై చేయగలమండి మనం?
Excellent. To answer this question, we have to look at what is the content of Vedanta. What does Vedanta talk about? For example, has sun existed millions of years ago?
Yes.
Is sun existing today also?
Yes.
Okay. Sun is giving light hundreds of years ago? Today also?
Yes.
Will sun give light thousands of years later also?
Yes.
Right. Okay. So, what has changed and what will not change? If you see, the truth will never change.
Okay.
Right? For example, 300 years ago, human beings had only 2 hands, 2 legs, 1 nose, 2 eyes. And now also people have only that. Another 100 years later also, children who are born will also have that. There are certain things that won't change. There are certain things which will change. So based on time, space, kala, desha kala, there are certain things that will definitely change. Like fashion will change. The degree that you take might change.
Okay.
Right? The importance given to certain things will change. Priorities will change. But the truth will never change.
The essence of truth.
So the essence of Vedas and Vedanta is only truth.
Okay.
Because that is the subject matter. What is 1,000 years back, 5,000 years back is applicable today. And it will be applicable 5,000 years later also. That is the content of Vedanta. Right? Now, what is difficult is how do you bring that relevance of that content to a new situation?
Okay.
I think that is where we as Joyful Vedanta are trying to apply. For example, 50, 60 years ago, your grandfather, your parents, they never asked questions to their parents when they asked them to do something.
Yes.
That was that time. But today, even a 4-year-old, 5-year-old child asks a lot of questions. You ask the person to put a bindi on the face, they'll say, why should I put?
Yes.
Right? So, the fact that we listened to our parents without asking questions is something that has changed.
Yes.
Right? Now, how do I still talk about the truth to a new generation? The method has to be different.
Yes.
Earlier, they ordered us. Now, we cannot order our children. Right? So, the truth will remain the same, but how we present it to them need to change.
Okay.
Right? And which is what we are attempting to do, to say a lot of things have changed because of time and space, but the truth has not changed. But how do I change in my conveying to the group?
So method of teaching.
Method of teaching has to change. I'm sure you would know a child develops likes or dislike to a subject based on two things. One, the teacher, whether it likes the teacher or not. If the child doesn't like the teacher, it won't want to learn from the teacher, however intelligent the teacher is. Second is the method of teaching.
Okay.
If the method is very complicated, the child will develop aversion to that subject. Right? So it's two things. One is the teacher, and second is the method of teaching.
Yes.
These both need to keep changing depending on the changes that are happening around.
Okay.
Right? Earlier, they used to sit in one place and give a lecture. Right? It was accepted. But today, you have to use modern tools. You need to, so how does that, like digitally, you have to convey things to people.
Yes.
Those changes is what we are trying to bring in, keeping the essence same without changing the essence, because the truth never changes.
Okay.
Right? So it is still relevant for everybody. And it will be relevant 1,000 years later also.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
And one more question. స్పిరిచువాలిటీ అంటే జనరల్గా పర్సెప్షన్ ఏంటంటే మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ది పీపుల్కి, నేను ఐఎమ్ నాట్ టెలింగ్ ఎవ్రీబడి హ్యాస్ ద సేమ్ పర్సెప్షన్, ఒక 50-60 తర్వాత అంటే అన్ని రెస్పాన్సిబిలిటీస్ అయిపోయాక, మెన్ అయితే కనుక రిటైర్మెంట్ అయిపోయాక, ఉమెన్ అయితే కనుక అన్ని రెస్పాన్సిబిలిటీస్ అయిపోయాక, అప్పుడు దే ఆర్ ప్లానింగ్ టు ఎంటర్ ఇన్ టు ద స్పిరిచువాలిటీ. కానీ అసలు అకార్డింగ్ టు యూ అసలు కరెక్ట్ టైం ఏంటండి స్పిరిచువాలిటీలోకి ఎంటర్ అవ్వడానికి?
ఓకే, కరెక్ట్ టైం ఈస్ ఇన్ స్కూల్.
ఇన్ స్కూల్ ఓన్లీ. ఓకే.
The reason is, many people who learn Vedanta at the age of 60, if you go and interview them, the first thing they'll say is, I wish I had known this before.
Yes.
Right? But when you try to tell people during college, they'll say, it is not for me now, it is later. Right? School is the right time to talk to people about Vedanta, because Vedanta is not philosophy.
Okay.
Okay, Vedanta is truth, and Vedanta is a set of realities. And if a child understands that very well, it will set goals which are very different, and it will make efforts to achieve those goals also in a very dharmic way. And the level of success a child or a youth enjoy will be 100 times more if the Vedanta background is there.
Okay.
Right? For example, if you take an Adi Shankara, he lived for a very short time.
Yes.
But if you look at the amount of work he has achieved during that short time, he is far ahead than, much greater than what you and I can achieve even at 100 years.
Yes.
Why were they able to do that? If you take a Veda Vyasa, he has written the entire Vedas, he has written so many Puranas, everything during his lifetime.
Even Swami Vivekananda.
Yeah, even Swami Vivekananda. How are they able to do it? Because they have understood the subject matter so well that they are able to set very big ambitions for themselves, and they are able to achieve those ambitions.
Okay.
So imagine a child which is grounded very well today. The child will set very, very big ambitions for itself, and it will reach heights which are much greater if we give them this knowledge at a earlier age. So first we have to remove the myth from the mind that Vedanta is for old age. Vedanta is for young age actually. But we have to first convince the people about the utility of the same. Right? Which is another direction which Joyful Vedanta is taking. Like, how do I convince a group of youngsters on this subject? Right? In a manner that they understand.
And they will get a lot of time to apply that.
And they had a lot of time, not just apply, they had a lot of time to make mistakes.
Yes.
Right? And nobody can learn without making mistakes, right? And when you make the mistake at an younger age, it's much easier for you to correct it. Right?
మేము చిన్నప్పుడు అంటే వెన్ వీఆర్ యంగ్ అసలు వేదాంతం అంటే అదొక డీప్ ఫిలాసఫీ ఆఫ్ లైఫ్. ఆ మిత్ అన్నది అలా ఉండిపోయిందండి. ఇంకా అంటే ఇంకా వేదాంతం అంటే చాలా డీప్ ఫిలాసఫీ, ఇట్ ఈస్ టూ మచ్ ఫర్ యూ గైస్. సో దీన్ని ఎలా, ఆ స్టిగ్మాని మీరు ఎలా పోగొట్టాలి అంటే ఎలా, హౌ యు ఆర్ ప్లానింగ్ టు?
Yeah, so what we plan to do is we want to utilize youngsters to remove the myth.
Okay.
So we have a group of youngsters with whom we are talking now, discussing, who will do small play, 1 minute, 2 minute videos.
Okay.
And they are the ones to influence youngsters. The moment elders come in, youngsters think that we are advising.
Yes, that's true.
Right? And children learn from children better. So we are planning to make children talk about the importance of Vedanta to children. And make a lot of youngsters explain how they benefited from it. Right? And then project it to people, to children and colleges, and thereby they will learn.
I think that is the best way to reach
Yeah,
the
that is the best way
youngsters,
to reach the masses. Right? Yeah.
So, generally, how much time we have to spend on these Vedantas and everything? అంటే మనకు scriptures మీద, according to you, అసలు ఎంత time మనం spend చేస్తే మంచిది? Is there any time?
One lifetime is not enough to learn what is there in the Vedas. 10 lifetimes is not enough to learn what is in the Vedas. So instead of saying, how long should I be learning? I think we should focus on how I should be learning, the process.
Okay.
Right? So it is said that you start early. That's advantage. Okay. Right? And you learn consistently every day. Some time you devote for that.
Okay.
Without saying that 1 year I'll go and learn Vedanta and after that, every day can you devote 10 minutes? So which is what is we call systematic study. Right? And to be done over several years. Very important, under the guidance of a competent guru.
Okay.
Right? The reason is there are many people who claim they have the knowledge. But do they? Let me give an example. Astrology may be a good science. But do astrologers know the science well? We don't know that.
Yes.
So you go to an astrologer and you realize that the astrologer is not competent. But then we end up believing what the person says. And then we come back and realize that that's not the truth. Then what do? We reject astrology as a subject.
Yes.
Right? But what we did not know is astrology is a science, but astrologer did not know the subject well. Same way, when we say learn this subject from a very competent guru, that means we have to find out whether the truth is getting changed in any way or not. Right? The truth cannot be changed to an opinion. Then it becomes an opinion. Right?
Yes, yes.
So without corrupting that truth, can I learn the subject in a systematic way over a period of time under the guidance of a competent acharya? I think that process, if you focus on, then you can keep learning continuously.
Throughout your life.
Yeah, throughout your life. There is nothing like a 3-year degree course on Vedanta. Or you can learn one topic. Right? That's all. But if you look at a spiritual journey, it's a lifelong journey. Right?
One question, it may look stupid for you, but nowadays people are thinking, మనం ఏది చేసినా కూడా they want some benefit from it.
Yes.
సో అసలు మనం వేదాంతం నేర్చుకుంటే దాని నుంచి మనకు వచ్చే బెనిఫిట్ ఏంటండి?
Beautiful. First of all, there's nothing wrong in thinking that what is the benefit I'll get. Okay. In fact, in Vedanta, we have something called as a Nishkama Seva. Nishkama means I don't have any expectation. Now, the moment you say I have no expectation, you are telling a lie. We all have expectations. For example, if you take a performer, a classical music, okay, he has an expectation people should appreciate.
Yes.
Okay. Let's assume that a singer is singing in front of God in a temple when there is nobody. Okay, he's just singing for the Lord. Is he expecting something? Of course he's expecting something. He's expecting grace from Lord. Right? He's expecting moksha from Lord. So this concept of expectation is bad, is itself wrong. In fact, Vedas or scriptures never tell you don't expect. Never.
Okay.
You know what they say? Expect. In fact, that's why when you do a homa, you say clearly, Sankalpa, I do this homa for this purpose. Right? You take any shloka. At the end of the shloka, there is something called Palashruti. Right? Vishnu Sahasranama has got Palashruti. Ganapati Atharva Shisham has got Palashruti, which says, if you do this, you will get this. Right? And so when you do it with that expectation. Right? For example, you're doing this interview from me. I'm sure you have some expectations. I have some expectations, right? If you say I'm doing it without any expectation, we are telling lies. So there is nothing wrong in saying, I have an expectation and I want something out of this, right? Okay. So what is the expectation that you can have when you study Vedanta as a subject? The expectation that you can have is you can lead your life joyfully and peacefully and set much bigger goals and achieve it very nicely, right? And it can happen very nice on a daily basis. This is the expectation you can have, and I think it's perfectly okay to have that expectation.
Okay. If you are peaceful, automatically you are joyful also, no? So what is the difference between peaceful?
Beautiful. See, peace is, I don't have any conflict and I am calm. But joy is an expression of an emotion.
Okay.
Right? So, me being joyful may happen even without being peaceful. Right? I may be having a lot of tension in the mind, and I may have an attitude to take it nicely, and I may try to project myself to be happy. All that can happen, right? Charlie Chaplin's very famous quotation, right? I love rains because people can't see my tears. Right? So, it is to say that I am joyful does not mean I am peaceful. I am peaceful does not mean I am joyful. So, if you look at a fundamental seeking of a human being, it's a combination of joy and peace, right? And that's why we said joyful and peaceful living is a word. Okay. But you're right, they are connected, no doubt. If you're more peaceful, then joy happens. And when you're more joyful, peace happens. But that's not guaranteed. That's all.
Okay. Yeah. మన ధర్మాల ప్రకారం మానవ సేవే మాధవ సేవ. కానీ మనం ఇప్పుడు చేసే యాగాలు కానీ పూజలు కానీ ఇవన్నీ కూడా దేవుణ్ణి సాటిస్ఫై చేయడానికి ఇవన్నీ చేస్తున్నామండి మనం. దేవుణ్ణి సాటిస్ఫై చేయాలంటే మన అదర్ పర్సన్కి హెల్ప్ చేస్తే సరిపోతుంది కదా, ఇవన్నీ ఎందుకు?
ఇట్ ఈస్ ట్రూ దట్ సర్వీస్ టు ఎ హ్యూమన్ బీయింగ్ ఇస్ సర్వీస్ టు ద లార్డ్, రైట్? ఇట్స్ నాట్ ఓన్లీ సర్వీస్ టు ఎ హ్యూమన్ బీయింగ్, ఇట్ ఈస్ సర్వీస్ టు అ ప్లాంట్ యు డూ ఇస్ సర్వీస్ టు ద లార్డ్. Service to an animal that you do is service to the Lord, right? In our culture, the only culture which says God is everything, and you see God in everything, right? Don't we worship our tools on Ayuda Puja Day? Yes. So we see God there, right? Now, the whole concept is service is to be focused on, not just to human beings. The more service, then you are more closer to the God. The reason is, taking is an animal attribute.
Okay.
Taking and giving is a human attribute. But giving is a divine attribute. Right? So, when you serve in any form to anybody, it's giving. And that is called as service to the Lord. Right? Now, we need to understand what is this yaga for the devas. What is this yaga? We should understand what happens. Any action we do, it affects us first.
Okay.
Right? Like I'm spending energy talking. I need to gather the energy somewhere. I need to eat food. So any activity I'm doing, first I am getting affected. Second, the space around me is getting affected. If you chant good mantras in this room, or if you sit here and think positive thoughts in this room, and anybody coming into this room will think only positive. Okay. Over a period of 2 years, this room will carry that energy of positivity. So, second level of impact of any action is the space.
Surroundings.
Third impact is the people around. So, depending on what I say, you get influenced. I can influence your mind on one direction. I can influence your mind on another direction. That's a third impact that happens. Right? Now, anything that is happening in space will also affect the people who come into that space. So if I chant mantras in this room for 1 year and then I leave, somebody who comes into this room new will get impacted by that thought. Have you noticed that when you visit some houses, you feel very positive?
Definitely.
And whereas when you visit some other spaces, you somehow feel very uncomfortable?
Yeah. When you visit temples also, some type of good vibrations.
And not all temples carry that vibration. Okay. If you notice carefully, there are some temples when you don't feel anything. Whereas in some temples, you really feel a lot of positive vibes. It all depends on what kind of environment has been created, climate has been created by the positive thoughts. Yagas and yajnas are done for the benefit of humanity to affect the space.
Okay.
That's all. Right? Now, science is something that not every common man understands. But when you present everything as science, people need a background to understand. And because people don't have that background, they presented it as stories. And they presented it as Agni Deva, Vayu Deva. They presented everybody as God. And the reason is because that's more easy for a human being to understand, right? Than experiment everything in science. Right. So, for example, Newton discovered gravity. But do you mean to say gravity was not there before?
It's there.
In fact, Newton's birth took place because of gravity. As a woman, you would know, childbirth cannot happen without gravity. Right?
Yes.
So, when you present something as a science, very few people can understand. When you present something as a belief or a story, more people will understand. So, they present it as stories. That's all, nothing else. But the focus is an yajna is done with very specific materials, is chanted with certain vibrations, and those vibrations and those materials, everything cause an impact to the space, and that impact is useful to everybody. That's all. Okay, I'll give another practical example. We cook at home. Okay, when we cook at home, the food carries not only the ingredients, the food carries the thoughts and the vibrations of the person who's cooking also. Swami Vivekananda has spoken about this extensively, right? So what happens is, when I scold somebody, when I curse somebody, when I am cooking, and that food is eaten by somebody, that energy also goes into that person.
Okay.
So that is why they say when you are cooking, listen to some mantras and cook. Or cook in total silence, or cook early in the morning when nobody has woken up, so that the the environment or the space is not corrupted, right? So what goes into the food is not only the ingredients. What goes into the food is a vibration. So similarly, when I chant a mantra, it is vibration. When I burn something, put it into Agni, it creates certain chemical outputs. And those chemical outputs combined with these vibrations cause an impact in the environment, which is useful to everybody. That's all. Nothing else.
But that is becoming a bigger commercial business.
Yes, it is. It is, you're right. Today, manifestation, enlightenment, they're all billion-dollar industries, actually.
Yes.
Anything and everything people commercialize, and this is also things that got commercialized. That's all. If you ask me whether there's something wrong about it, I will not say right or wrong. It's an individual opinion, right? I think what you and I need to decide is, will you do it? That's all. For example, instead of talking about whether committing a murder is right or wrong, we need to ask ourselves, will I do it? Should I do it? Just because others are doing it, should I do it? Right? So, yes, it is commercialization. I think, as it is said nicely, it's not only the person who cheats has to be blamed. The person who got cheated also chooses to get cheated also should be equally blamed. Right?
That's true.
Like I allow myself to be cheated. I allow myself to be exploited. I allow myself to be abused. And then how can I blame somebody saying that you abused me? You exploited me. When I allow it, I think things will happen. Same way, I think it's become a commercial industry. I would say each person needs to become aware that I am getting drawn into this commercialization, or should I go back to the roots? Right? Yes. In fact, Joyful Vedanta, the first line you will hear anybody in Joyful Vedanta say is, we are not a cult. It's not a person dependent. It's not dependent on me, or it's not dependent on any particular person. We are not a cult. We are not trying to promote cult here. We want to go back to the roots. We want to go back to the truth, right? And we have a vision, and everybody is aligned to the vision. Nobody is aligned to me. Nobody is aligned to any person here, right?
Yes.
So that's a very, very unique difference of Joyful Vedanta. We are not a cult. Yeah.
జనరల్గా మంచి పనులు చేసిన వాళ్ళకే కష్టాలు ఎక్కువ కనిపిస్తూ ఉంటాయండి. బ్యాడ్ థింగ్ చేసిన వాళ్ళు మనం చూడడానికి యాజ్ పర్ అవర్ నాలెడ్జ్ మనకు తెలియదు తర్వాత వాళ్ళు చాలా హ్యాపీగా ఉన్నట్టు, అంటే మర్డర్స్ చేసి ఇవన్నీ చేసి కరప్షన్ చేసే వాళ్ళంతా చాలా హ్యాపీగా కనిపిస్తూ ఉంటారు. పూజలు చేసి దాన ధర్మాలు చేసిన వాళ్ళందరికీ కష్టాలు ఉన్నట్టు కనిపిస్తాయి. అది ట్రూ? అది నిజంగా ఈజ్ ఇట్ ట్రూ అండి?
Yeah, it is true. I think I need to explain this in a lot more detail, but I'll just give you a simple example. Right? I have about 20 years back, I made an investment, say, of 1 crore rupees. And I said 20 years later, you give me returns. So 20 years, I did not get anything from it. But that multiplied, that 1 crore became 10 crores. And today I'm getting, say, 5,000 rupees every month. But today, I am hitting people in my house. I'm breaking things. I'm doing a lot of negative things. Will this 5,000 rupees stop or not?
They won't stop.
Why it won't stop? I'm doing something negative, no? But if you look at it carefully, the 5,000 which is coming to me is because of some good I did long back. This is independent. I am doing something negative today. I will face the effect of it much later. These two are running on parallel tracks. Right? One will not compensate the other. The same is true the other way about. Like I did something wrong 10 years later. Like I did not eat good food. I ate junk food. I did not take care of my health. I did that for 20 years. Today, I'm having sugar, I'm having BP, I'm having heart problem, I'm having all kinds of stress and tension. But today, I'm visiting temples every day. Will my BP stop? No. Will my sugar stop? No. Why? I'm going to temples every day. No, I'm doing yajna. Why am I having BP? Because I'm having BP because I did not take care of my health in the past. I am visiting temples today. I'm doing a lot of good things today. I will see the benefit of that later. Right. I think we need to have a correct understanding of, like, yes, there are a lot of negative people who seem to be having a great life today. But they are having a great life today because they've earned it. Right? But the negative things they're doing today will affect them. It will affect them later. So we need to understand the whole concept of cause and effect. I don't want to use the word karma because I need to explain that. But a simple cause and effect is easy to understand. Every effect has got a cause. And every cause will have an effect.
In the future.
Right, it will. Right? Some things will not affect today. For example, if I eat healthy food today, tomorrow I'll be healthy?
Mostly.
No. Today I ate healthy food.
Okay, not for one day.
Tomorrow I won't be healthy. I have to do it consistently. Similarly, today I ate junk food.
Immediately it won't
it won't affect. If I eat junk food continuously, I think it will affect.
Yes.
Right? So certain things have an impact immediately. Certain things have an impact later.
Okay.
Right? So we cannot look at it from just today. It is what has happened. Right?
In this generation nowadays, everybody misses that satisfaction and trupti ante entannadi marchipoyaru. Even the younger generations completely no. A satisfied life undalante how we have to think or what we have to do.
Okay. Trupti is a very, very, very strong word. There are many words in Sanskrit which don't have a good translation in English.
Okay.
For example, there is no translation for moksha. Even though loosely we say liberation, no, it is not.
Okay.
Same way, tripti as a word is far, far, far deeper than the word satisfaction.
Okay.
Okay? Even gratification does not come close to tripti. Yeah. In fact, in one of the works of one of the students of Adi Shankara, okay, Panchadashi, which talks about 15 chapters, there is an entire chapter called as Tripti Deepa. Okay? 298 shlokas, if I'm not mistaken, which explain about what Tripti is. And that is such a deep subject.
How to be satisfied?
No, how to have Tripti.
Okay. Okay, Tripti.
Okay. We have satisfaction, we have contentment, we have gratification.
Ee moodu kalipte Tripti.
Which of these is Tripti? Right? So we need to be very clear about that. Right? Okay. If you look at it from a practical point of view, Tripti leads you to peace and joy. Correct?
Yes.
If I'm very, then I feel joyous and I feel very peaceful also. So which means Tripti is a good goal to have. Right? How do you have that? A simple equation is when you are interacting with people, because mostly we interact with people, okay, or animals or plants, have an understanding, a deeper understanding. So when I have a deeper understanding, I know why certain things happen. I don't get angry. I don't get affected. Right? So first thing to develop Tripti is to have a deeper understanding. Like your plant is not growing. Why it's not growing? It's not growing. It's not growing. I'm in tension. But if I develop an understanding, I know why it's not growing. My child is not doing something. I get into stress, tension. My child is weak in mathematics. My child is weak in science. Whereas the other person's child is doing well. So you get into stress and tension because of lack of understanding. So first thing is jnana. Jnana is understanding. Ajnana is ignorance. So first step is to develop an understanding. Right? Second step is to, this understanding leads automatically to something called as patience. Right? A tree will take 20 years to grow. A bamboo tree will not show anything for 5 years. Your money plant will grow immediately. If you have an understanding, I won't expect a bamboo tree to grow tomorrow. Right? So what an understanding gives you is patience. Saying that certain things will happen at certain times and we will have to wait. We cannot be in a hurry. Right? Like a culture in an organization, if a culture is messed up for 20 years, it will take at least 5 years for it to change. You can't say tomorrow I conduct a workshop on culture and tomorrow the people will become very positive. They won't. One day it will not change. Right? Like people listen to this interview. You think they'll become philosophers or they will tomorrow start understanding karma? No, it won't happen. It will take time. Right? And let it take time. So second thing is patience. So understanding, patience. Third, while it is good to have expectations, it's good to reduce expectations. Okay? It's okay. For example, I do this interview. We spent 1 hour, 2 hours. Okay? Should I expect that 100 million people will watch this and I will receive in my inbox some 10 million appreciation mails? I will only be disappointed. Right? But having invested this kind of time, it's okay for you to expect that you should get a good welcome from audience. It's okay for me to expect that at least some people will, listen to our videos on our website. Some people will, benefit out of that. It's okay for me to expect that. But when you reduce expectations, your level of disappointment also will be low. Otherwise, your disappointment will be high. So it's a very simple thing. Increase understanding. Increase patience.
Reduce expectation.
Reduce expectation. Right? To put it mathematically,
Yes.
joy and peace is equal to understanding multiplied by patience divided by expectation.
Oh, what a nice formula.
Right? That's all. Yeah.
One last question, Guruji. Generally, good habits and positive thinking అన్నది డెవలప్ చేసుకోవాలన్నా అడాప్ట్ చేసుకోవాలన్నా చాలా కష్టం అండి. కానీ నెగిటివ్ థింకింగ్ అని బ్యాడ్ హ్యాబిట్స్, డ్రింకింగ్, స్మోకింగ్, ఫ్రాక్షన్ ఆఫ్ సెకండ్లో పీపుల్ విల్ గెట్ అట్రాక్టెడ్ చాలా తొందరగా. నెగిటివిటీకి కూడా ఏమన్నా చాలా పాజిటివిటీ చూసినా కూడా నెగిటివ్ ఉన్నంత ఇంపాక్ట్ పాజిటివ్ క్రియేట్ చేయదు. అది ఎందుకంటారు అది?
Okay. First of all, is it true? Yes, it is true. What you said is true. But why is it true? To understand this, I should first explain something else. There is nothing like man, woman. But there is something called male energy, female energy.
Okay.
Both men and women have both energies. That's the whole concept of Ardhanarishwara. Right? To say, I as a man, I have both male energy and female energy. You as a biological woman, you have both male energy and female energy. Male energy has certain attributes, female energy has certain attributes.
Okay.
A biological man may have a dominant female energy. So some of the attributes will be female-like, like a lot of love, lot of soft talking, lot of patience, right? A biological woman may have a lot of male energy, right? The whole universe is made of male and female energy is truth. If you understand this, the way we interact will be very different. We will not tell a woman, don't be too aggressive. The woman is too aggressive because male energy is dominating. Right? Now, why am I giving this example is because the whole concept of energy need to be understood well.
Okay.
There is something called flowing energy. There is something called staying energy. Okay. Positivity is a flowing energy. It won't stay.
Okay.
But negativity is a staying energy. This is universal truth. Right? Negativity is a staying energy. Right? And that has to be driven out. Whereas positivity, you have to make effort to retain. Otherwise it will go. That's why in our scriptures, we talk about Lakshmi. Right? We have Sri Devi and Mu Devi. Sri Devi is someone who gives you wealth. Mu Devi is someone who gives you poverty.
Okay.
Right? Sri Devi is a flowing energy, whereas Mu Devi is a staying energy. So you have to do puja to her to ask her to leave. Just as much you do puja to Sri Devi to ask her to come into your life. We need to do both. Right? You tell me in gardening, how long does it take for weeds to form?
Very fast.
Very quickly. How long do weeds take to spread? Very fast. Whereas a flower will take a long time to come.
True.
Right? Because it is universal truth that negativity is a staying energy. Positivity is a flowing energy. So if I do 100 good things to you over 20 years, you will not remember. But one wrong word I speak, you will remember after 20 years, and you will remember the date when I said it also. Right? The reason is your negative impact stays. Your positive impact flows away.
Then marchukovalante, if you want to turn your negative thinking to positive thinking.
Yeah. It has to be a deliberate effort. It cannot happen automatically. What happens automatically is to stay. You have to make a deliberate effort. Deliberate effort, what you should do, I usually say this, flood your system with positivity. Flood is a word. Flood your system with positivity, that the negativity just doesn't
stay inside.
No, it will stay, but it's not visible.
It has to dominate.
It's because it is completely dominated by positivity. For example, if, I'm just taking an example, if I hurt you today, okay, without delaying, you should load your mind with positive thinking about me within the next 10 minutes. Oh, Ranga has done this to me. Ranga has done this to me. Ranga is fine. I think I've learned a lot from this. Quickly load your mind with positivity so that negativity just gets flooded away. But instead, you know what we do? Suppose I hurt you today. There is a possibility that you keep thinking about it in the car. You keep thinking about it tomorrow morning. You keep thinking. So you know what you do? Already it will stay.
Yes.
You are making it stay for longer. So there is something called negative tape and positive tape. Don't play the negative tape. Play the positive tapes about people. Again and again and again. What value has that person added to me? That's why our scriptures emphasize a lot on one quality called attitude of gratitude. Have gratitude to everything.
Whatever the attitude it is.
Yes. Have gratitude to the smallest of things. In our puja, if you see, we have gratitude to the directions. We have gratitude to sun for giving us light. We have gratitude to the floor. A dancer, can you show me one dancer who does not touch the floor before dancing? Our culture is full and full and full of gratitude. Right? Thank God for this. Thank parents for this. Thank children for this. Thank neighbors for this. Right? The reason we are loading our system with an attitude of gratitude is because that negativity which will otherwise stay will just completely get, I won't say pumped out, it cannot pump out, but it will be overshadowed with positivity. That's all.
ఇప్పుడున్న జనరేషన్కి పెద్దవాళ్ళు ఏమైనా చెప్తున్నారు అనుకోండి, అంటే దట్ ఈస్ గుడ్, దట్ ఈస్ బ్యాడ్ అని చెప్తూ ఉంటే కనుక పిల్లలు ఇమీడియట్గా వేదాంతం చెప్పడం ఆపండి, వీ నో వాట్ టు డూ. సో హౌ టు కన్విన్స్ దెమ్, అంటే ఇది కరెక్ట్ అని చెప్పడానికి ఎలా?
Okay. I'm going to say something which is very controversial. Okay. You cannot convince anyone without logic. Right? When I tell you, listen to me, just do it. It's not convincing. It is an order. Today, the parents are not able to convince children because parents themselves are not knowledgeable. We have to first become knowledgeable. I will give you an example. After watching the Savadara on TV, a child asked a question. In one of the avatars, the god came and rescued earth from the ocean. The child is learning mathematics. The child is saying, ocean is a part of the world.
Yes.
How can the whole world go into a part which is ocean? Now, is this a logical question?
Yes.
How should you answer this question? Logically or by force?
If we don't know the logic, we will tell by force.
Yeah.
only.
By force, please don't do it. Leave them alone. If we don't know how to present something logically, we should not talk about it. Vedanta is full of logic and full of science. Vedanta is not philosophy. We have converted that into philosophy because we don't know the science. We don't know the logic behind.
Okay.
And I would actively recommend parents to invest a lot of time to learn correctly so that you can talk to the child. For example, the child says, Bindi, why should I keep a bindi? Right? My grandfather told, my mother told, you also keep. Not okay. You should explain logically why a bindi is useful, why a bindi is not useful. Right. When a child says, why can't I wear a short, and a girl child particularly says, I wear a short thing and I roam around in the road. What is wrong? Right. Instead of telling, just listen to me, can you present a logic in a very calm and appealing manner? The child will think. The child is an intelligent person. The child will think. Right. But we don't, unfortunately, tell our children to think because, very sorry to say, for most parents, when they say my child is not listening to me, you know what they mean? The child is not obedient. Parents don't know the difference between obedience and listening. Listening is a discussion process. Obedience is one-way communication.
Okay. It's parent telling kid.
Right. So when parents say my child is not listening to me, they are actually meaning my child is not obedient. Right? The problem is not with the child. The child is inquisitive. Any child will ask questions. A child is very logical. It's a parent who need to scale themselves. And if you don't scale ourselves, then I think we'll face situations where the moment we start saying something, they'll say philosophy, bus. Philosophy means what? You say something for which you are not able to build a logic. That's called philosophy.
Okay.
So whenever we say anything to a child for which there is no logic, they will say philosophy, don't give. In which case, I would say, as parents, we just should shut up, enhance our knowledge. That's all.
People who are literate, it is okay. But people who are illiterate, అంటే వాళ్ళు explain చేయలేని parents అనుకోండి, వాళ్ళు ఏం చేయగలరు మరి?
Beautiful. Direct the child to illiterate person. Or I will say, direct the child to read Joyful Vedanta website. Right? No, I'm serious about it. Because in Joyful Vedanta, what we do, we present the subject in a very logical way. Right?
Even a small, like a 6 year, 7 years.
Absolutely. We present it in very simple way for a person to understand. And we present logic. We don't force anything. We present logic and science.
Okay.
Right? So we have a YouTube channel called @JoyfulVedanta. So www.youtube.com/@JoyfulVedanta. There are lots of videos which are free videos.
Okay.
Ask the young children to go through those videos. Then we have our website, joyfulvedanta.org. Ask them to go through that website. There's a lot of material there. Right? And we have formal structured courses. So people can subscribe to those courses. If you go to our website, there's a button called courses. If you click, it will give you some courses that you can read.
Okay.
And it is presented in a very logical manner, not as a philosophy, so that people can understand. And I'm sure it should be understood by even youngsters, because in our Joyful Vedanta classes, we have children who are 8th standard and 9th standard who are attending. So,
thank you.
Thank you. Namaste.